Today we're going to be looking at solving systems of inequalities. So with our inequalities, we have these two signs. So we have these two signs, greater than or less than, and then we have these two signs, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So if we have these two, we're going to have a dotted line. If we have these two, we're going to have a solid line. And we're going to see what that means during the lesson today. So let's take a look at the first one. So we want to graph the linear inequality y is greater than or equal to 3x plus 2. So because it has or equal to, that means we're going to have a solid line. So we're going to start off with graphing this. So my m value is 3 over 1. My b value is 2. So I'm going to put a point right at 2. Remember, I can't put a point, so I put a little x there. Then I come up 3, rise 3, 1, 2, 3, run 1. Now I can reverse this and do a -3, -1. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, run to the left 1. 2 negatives give me a positive. So that would also work. So let's make our line. Again, it's going to be solid because of the fact that it is or equal to. So the new thing with the system of equations is going to be that we have to shade in a region. So when I look at this, it's going to be y is greater than. So it's going to be values that are bigger. So that's going to be all up here. This is going to be greater than. So I'm going to shade all this in. Now let's try another one. So over here, we have that this is less than or equal to. So again, this is going to be solid. So my m value here is going to be -1 over 1. And my b value is going to be -2. So I'm going to put a point at -2. I'm going to go down 1 and to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. Again, it's solid because of the fact that I have or equal to. If I didn't have or equal to, then it wouldn't be solid. So I want values that are going to make it less than. So when I make it less than, it's going to be all this space down here. And then how do I know that? Well, if I pick a point from there and plug it in, it'll give me what I want. So let's pick a point from there. So -2 is my x, -1 is my y. So if I look at that, we'll do a different color. So -1, is that going to be less than or equal to the opposite of -2 minus 2? So that's going to give you -1 is less than or equal to 2 minus 2. Well, that gives you -1 is less than or equal to 0, which is true. And that's why we shaded in all this area over here. Same thing over here. If we picked a point, would it give us a true statement? So let's pick the point -2, 2. So my y value is going to be 2. We said that's going to be greater than or equal to, and then we're going to have 3 times -2 plus 2. So 3 times -2 is -6 plus 2, which is -4. Well, -4 is less than 2. So that's why we shaded in all this area up here. So we can pick points to make sure we're shading in the correct spots. Now let's go ahead and take a look at number 3. We're actually going to skip number 4, so don't worry about number 4. So number 3 says, okay, you've graphed both these out. Let's put them in the same graph. So the first one was at 2, up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1. So again, we're going to shade this in. I want the line one. So line through this, boom. Then the second one is going to be at -2. We're going to go down 1 to the left, down 1 to the right, sorry, not to the left, down 1 to the right. So that would be all of our points here. Now what we want is we want to find two areas that are shaded in the same color. So let's shade in. So we're going to do red, or we'll do orange for this one. So we shade in all this. So this one will be the orange. And then we'll do brown for this one. Or no, we'll do purple for this one. And then I'm pulling this from up here. So we shaded in all that. Now we're going to shade in all this. And what we want to find is the area that we double shaded in. So shade, 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 shade. So this area right here is the solution to our system of inequalities. So points from here are going to make both statements true. So that would be what our solution is to a system of inequality. And that's what we're going to do for these problems, is we're going to graph out our two lines. And once we graph them out, we're going to shade in the values. How do I come up with the values? I pick points from inside of there. So over here, I picked the point that was inside of it. That point that was inside of this was -1, or -2, -1. And over here, I picked the point -2, 2. And that's how I solved out my system of inequalities. So go ahead and work on the practice problems for today after you write a brief reflection of how to solve a system of inequalities.